Action.
I'm here with Deborah Thomas, my cousin, and she's going to give us some more information about our family's history, the Penns and the Barclays. So, Deborah, tell me, where were you born?
I was born in Rochester, New York.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your experience with your family in Rochester, your mother, and what was it like growing up?
I was an only child, very protective. They thought my mother had a tumor. And thank God, here's that tumor. And I would go to Winston twice a year, every summer and every Christmas, and I would go to Cleveland every weekend. Because my father worked for Penn Central, so we had a free pass. And I would go to Cleveland every weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom would get off on Friday evening, and we would just jump on the train and go to Cleveland.
Okay.
And that's how I got to spend a lot of time with my Aunt B, your mom, Barbara, Uncle June. I actually grew up with Pat and Linda and all of those. And Stevie. Yeah, because I'll never forget, I actually came over and spent, I think, about a week or two, maybe a month with your mom one summer.
Oh, okay.
And it was the first time I ever experienced going to a Catholic church. First time I ever experienced Mass. So that was fun. And what else? I enjoyed myself. But what else? I'm young and forgetful.
Well, what was your mom's experience like in Winston-Salem?
My mother's experience Aunt B told me a story. My mom died in '97, and I like spending time with my Aunt B, my Aunt Retta, you know, and my Uncle Henry and my Uncle June, but we used to call Uncle June the mean one, and Uncle Henry was the cool one. Because Uncle June would tell you, get over there and sit down, chap. But when my mom passed, I spent time with Aunt B, and Aunt B was telling me about Lawrence and my mother. They were close in age because Aunt B and Aunt Lil were older sisters. Okay, and she would tell me that Grandma would be at work, and she would nurse Lawrence, have Lawrence on one breast and my mother on another. And I said, unbelievable, but I don't know how close they are in age, you know. But she would tell me that story, and she would just tell me little experiences about my mother. But I have something that's very funny. I'm trying to think. We went to Cleveland. I love them sisters and brothers when they get together. But we went to Cleveland, and Aunt B and my mom had a civil rivalry, a sibling rivalry. And my mother said, well, fine, B. And Aunt B turned around and she put her hands on her little hips, and she said, Pearl. She told Barbara too. Barbara was there. She said, Pearl, when I die, you're not invited to my funeral. And the whole house lit up. I thought that was so cute. We were actually at Uncle June's house. And I just thought that was so cute. You know how them siblings would get along. And then, of course, you know, my great Uncle Henry, he instigated it. He kept it going, you know. So that was enjoyable. But just the little things those siblings would do, you know. And then I remember Aunt B having her little shot, you know. And I asked her once what was the purpose of that. And I asked her, no problem. I asked her what was the purpose of that. And she said it was just something she liked to do. But in my mind, it actually kept her young. You know, it kept her going. Because if you think about it, Aunt B and Uncle Henry were the cool ones. You know what I mean? They were the cool ones. And my mom and Uncle June and Aunt Retta, you know, they were cool too, but I mean, you know how you have the
one relative.
one uncle, that one uncle and that one aunt, like, you know, everybody just loved. And that was the thing with Aunt B. But here comes my cousin Sam that can give you a lot of stories because she spent a lot of time in Cleveland. Yeah, she look like Farm Brown right now, but she spent a lot of time in Cleveland.
Yes, and what I was going to ask you, Deborah, lastly, what can you tell us? What are some of the most fondest memories, experiences that you've had with your family that you remember?
Oh my God, you would take me there. Just talking and the experiences. I mean, I've never been around my family and there was anger or hatred. I mean, even with their little mishaps, you know what I'm saying? It never stopped to show because they could argue 5 minutes and then turn around and loving each other. And on my mom's side, my mom loved to cook. Mommy was known for the one that would go to the fish market and we would go to Cleveland, and my mother would have to go to the fish market to get the fish, and then she would have to get her some greens, or she was good at getting Brussels sprouts and cutting it up like cabbage. She never did the whole Brussels sprout. She would cut it up like cabbage, and she would do the Brussels sprouts, and then my family would get together and they would have fish and greens. That was Pearl's thing. She loved to do that and hush puppies. and it was a tradition. You do not sit down to eat without onions, tomato, and cucumbers. It was a tradition. Right. I mean, it was something that Grandma never fixed her table without having the tomatoes, the onions, and the cucumbers on the side. So I mean, I don't know, and it's so weird. And growing up, when I would go around my friends and stuff, and their family wasn't like mine, I thought they had a problem. You know what I mean? I thought there was a problem there because my family has always been such, you know, close people. And then I talk a lot with Suda and San, and I think the three of us took after my mother. We all love to cook. All love to cook. And then Aunt Rhoda was just telling me I took after Grandma because I have plants throughout my house. And she said, oh Lord, she said, I feel like I'm at Mama's house. Because, you know, I have so many plants, and I didn't choose to, you know, deal with plants until my mother passed. She loved plants. And I just kept it going. I just kept it going. So I'm now my mother. Everybody has told me I look just like her.
That's what I'm hearing. But
you don't remember her, Toby?
I don't remember. And
but you were so young, though.
This is why it's so important for us to gather our history and hear these stories. But I'd like to thank you, Deborah, so much for sitting down and taking the time with us for our interview.
Thanks, Toby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,